Good day. This is HJT Views on current affairs. Today, we will be speaking on the issue of the Supreme Court judgment on GST, wherein the court has opined that the recommendations of the GST Council are not binding on the center or the states. Before we discuss this issue, I feel we need to go back in history to at least 6, 7, 8 years back when the GST law was passed by a constitutional amendment. It was approved by the Lok Sabha, it was approved by the Rajya Sabha, it was approved by the requisite number of states of the Union of India. And this GST constitutional amendment of a finance matter where the states and the center both agreed to give up their powers of taxation on a certain element, on certain products, on certain services, etc., and to have a common tax code across the country, same rates, defined service or defined goods, and input tax credit available to you on the output tax that you pay. The GST Council itself is a council of finance ministers of the Union of India and the states of India, with the center having one-third weightage in voting and the states having two-thirds weightage in voting. No item passes through the GST Council as approved unless at least 75% of the members have voted in favor of this particular change. Not only is it this way, after the council accepts, every state goes back or the center goes back and makes the requisite changes in its Finance Act. So the GST Council, in my view, is a very wonderful body which is protecting the interests of the states, protecting the interests of the center, and ultimately giving a common thread in terms of rates, in terms of input credits, in terms of output tax, etc. I think it would be very foolish for any state taking shelter of the Supreme Court judgment stating that the GST Council's opinion is not binding on the state to neglect the advantages that have accrued on this. I think it would be extremely foolish if they did that. The GST Council has played a very major role in harmonizing tax across the country. It has also played a major role in ensuring that there are no tax differentials between neighboring states so that import and export of goods start happening, something that was very, very frequent in the sales tax era. Ultimately, why did GST take off? Why did GST come into existence? I believe that finally, under the under the great persuasion of Arun Jaitley, the state finance ministers finally took a punt that tax revenues, if linked to economic growth, will always increase, and they were willing to give it a chance. For several years, the center said if your revenue does not grow by 14%, they will compensate you the difference. 5 years of that are ending 30 June 2022. And many states have gotten used to the fact that this money is going to come from the center and are therefore quite upset at the fact that the center has given enough indications to say that there will not be an extension of this tax scheme of sharing. That is what the center has said. End of this month, the center sharing the losses will end and the states will have to get dependent on their own. There are many states who are feeling that under the Supreme Court judgment, they can impose their own rates of tax. That would be a big mistake because, one, under a constitutional amendment that they themselves have passed, they have agreed to give up this right. They have agreed to give up this right of taxation at their rates for the fact that there is a greater good in a unitary tax method. They would be foolish, and what we will do if this is followed is that we will go back to the old days of different rates, different facilities, different issues, different returns. It would be a real disaster waiting to happen. One wishes that the Supreme Court had been a little more aware commercially of what it is doing so far as this judgment is concerned. Anyway, be it what it is, the fact does remain that no state of India I have seen is willing to release numbers which show what their GST tax earnings have been from July 1, 2017 till now, and what has been the percentage accretion, and whether in the old method they were having that sort of percentage accretion to their credit. I think all states know that they are on a good wicket on GST, but politics being politics, we will always have an unnecessary differential that comes in so that one proves a point that I am not subservient to the center, etc., etc. That's something that all of us have learned to live with and will have to live in the future also. That ends my talk of today. Till we meet again. Hope you like it. If you like the talk, please share it with your friends, relatives, acquaintances, addresses, etc. Till we meet again, Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra, Jai Mumbai. Bye.